say, hey, welcome to Midwest Sports Net. If you are watching by YouTube, please do subscribe. I don't know how you saw me if you weren't already subscribed. If you're here tonight through Facebook or through Twitter or some other way, please subscribe to the YouTube channel Midwest Sports Net. Now, we were talking about the studio. We'll go on and talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Then you didn't hear that. That's fine. No big deal. Division III, no winter championships in Division III. No winter championships in Division III. The Management Council and President's Council in Division III got together, made some thresholds, and said, hey, listen, all of the winter sports need to be up to a certain amount of participation if we're going to have winter championships. None of those sports met those thresholds. Men's and women's basketball, men's and women's swimming, men's and women's indoor track, men's and women's ice hockey, wrestling. Wrestling was the closest one. Needed a threshold of at least 70% participation, got 61.8% participation. Not going to have a winter championship in Division III. So sorry about that if you're a Division III fan. Division II, however, it's a much more rosy picture. Winter championships have been affirmed by the President's Council and the Management Council in Division II. So that's a good thing. I cannot say this enough. I can't stress this enough. That is a very positive thing. Now, I realize over the course of the past 12 months, some of the decisions that have been made, I've not necessarily been in alignment with or agreement with the NCAA on some of these decisions, whether it be Division I, Division II, doesn't matter. This is a good thing. This is a positive thing. So props to Division II. And one of the other things about this, and specifically for men's and women's basketball, this is where it gets to be even this much better because arrangements have been made. I'm going to bring up this screen here for Division II. Regional realignment for 1 year. Regional realignment for 1 year. And let me tell you what this means, because the 8 regions had 3 conferences apiece, or they did up until just last year. There were 24 Division II conferences, 8 regions, 3 conferences apiece in each one of the regions. Now, the South Central region, however, when the Heartland folded and the Lone Star Conference basically absorbed the Heartland, then the South Central had just 2 conferences in it, but still generally the same amount of schools. But because some of these conferences now this year did not have competition, then that means that the amount of schools competing in these regions were going to be so erratic. And so the folks at the Division II went in and made regional realignment. So let's look at this from top to bottom on your screen really quickly and talk about this. The Central and the Atlantic region up at the top, the Atlantic region, Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association, none. No teams competing. Okay. The Mountain East Conference has 12. The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, the PSAC, has only 3. So the Great Midwest Athletic Conference was moved out of the Midwest into the Atlantic. And now with the 12 teams in the GMAC, now there are 27 teams competing in that region. So you see how this kind of works out. The Central region, which was, and this is my opinion, and I know there are folks that would have other opinions about this, the Central region is probably the toughest region to get into and get out of into the Elite 8. The Central region now has only 2 conferences. The Mid-America Intercollegiate Athletic Association, the MIAA, with its 14 teams, and the Northern Sun with its 16 teams stay in the Central. The Great American Conference has been moved out of the Central, and we'll get to that in just a moment then. You move on down. The East region, the Central Atlantic Collegiate Conference, 7 teams, some there. The East Coast Conference, 6 teams, some there. The Northeast 10 with 1 team. And by the way, if you know the answer to this one, I'd love to hear it because I couldn't find which Northeast 10 team is actually competing. The conference said, no, we're not going to compete. Now, I realize it did leave some liberty for teams or schools to compete. So if you know the answer to this, let me know which Northeast 10 conference team is actually competing in men's and women's basketball. Well, there are 14 teams there. They left that one alone. Then the Midwest, without the GMAC, now has only the Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletics Conference and the Great Lakes Valley Conference, 27 teams combined there. They leave that as it is. In the South, it's the Gulf South, the Sunshine State, which has only 3 teams competing, by the way, in the Sunshine State Conference, and then the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference was moved out and moved over to the Southeast. The Peach Belt was moved into the South, and basically they just traded places. So the Peach Belt now in the South region for 21, okay, for 2020, 2021. The Southeast, and let's go back down to that one then, Conference Carolina stays, the South Atlantic Conference stays, and the Southern Intercollegiate Conference is moved in, okay? And then the South Central region, which had just the Lone Star Conference because the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference has moved out. We'll talk about that. And now the Great American Conference in the South Central. So there's 28 teams there. And then the West region has the California Conference, which no teams. California's not playing. Sorry, if you compete in California, not playing. The Great Northwest, yeah, just 2 teams there, and the Pacific West has 11. So the RMAC, the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, moves its 14 teams in to with the 13 that were left in the West region. And now you've got some balance, basically is what it's all about. You have some balance. Now, what does that mean? Well, the bottom line is that the NCAA Division II took care and did something. They did something about it. They balanced things out. They made arrangements, and they showed that they cared about the teams competing in the national championship. And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. Needed to be done. Now, also, you look into the spring then, and Division II made some changes and announced some things in the spring. So let's see if we can bring this up here. I'll see if I can show you that really quickly. The changes that have been made to spring championships, and here they are. So we look at that right now. Okay. From Indianapolis, changes that have been made and updates to the spring championships. And the main thing is this: no super regional for baseball or softball. No super regional for baseball and softball. So everything's going to take place over the one weekend. Now, this also, the other thing is that the tournament field size has been reduced. In baseball, it's been reduced from 56 to 42 teams. Only 42 teams are going to make the tournament this year. In softball, it's reduced from 68 to 48, or 64 to 48. So only 48 teams making the tournaments. Basically, you're looking at a region that used to bring in 8, now it's bringing in 6 in softball. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult to make these tournaments on the national level, but the postseason still exists. And that's the really big thing there. Now, what conferences are doing? Well, the Lone Star Conference announced today that it was adding an open week. So that gives room to make up some games if there were some games that were lost to postponement or cancellation, whatever the case may be. The Lone Star Conference has given time to its teams to maybe get a game or 2 more in before they go into the conference tournaments in both baseball and softball. Again, that's a good thing. So we're talking about positive things. And I know that there have been times here where I've looked around, and I said this earlier, and it may have been when the sound was off. So I'll say this again. There have been times I have been in disagreement in the last 12 months with decisions made by the NCAA. I've not been in alignment, not been in agreement. However, this is one of those times to say, really think they're doing the right thing. And so we're pushing this along. Now, what does this mean? Well, we go back to our winter championships, and we can take this one off the screen here really quickly and say, okay, well, we still have a lot going on. Look really quickly then at our Division II, at least from the men's side. We can tell you, hey, listen, there's a lot going on in men's and women's basketball. Now, I realize volleyball is still happening. Men's volleyball is happening right now. Women's volleyball is happening right now. We've got track that is going on right now. Indoor track going on right now. Baseball underway. Softball underway. Basketball still at this point in time during the year, it's going to get the most headlines right now. And so when you look at that, then we're looking at, if I can bring this up here. Yeah, there it is. Okay, polls. How about this? I have a couple of polls. The top 3 of the top 4 are the same in both polls. So if you look at that, the top 3 in the NABC poll, I'm sorry, I'm on the SID poll. The NABC poll, the coaches poll, 3 of the top 4 are the same in both of those. Colorado School of Mines in the top spot in the NABC poll. Northwest Missouri State's number 3. Lincoln Memorial from Tennessee's number 4. Of course, you have Northern State from South Dakota up there in that number 2 spot. Well, 3 of those top 4, you get Northwest Missouri State, Lincoln Memorial, and Colorado School of Mines in the top 3 in the SID poll as well. So those are your 3 that have really been consistent throughout. Truman State in at 12-1. They're number 5 in this poll. Northern State drops to number 6 in the SID poll. So to wrap up really what we were talking about, and again, I want to say thanks to the folks for watching tonight, for stopping by. If you are watching on Facebook or if you're watching on Twitter, please do go over to the YouTube site and check it out. Please do subscribe. It would help things out a whole lot, and we would really appreciate that. We have more coming up on the Midwest Sports Net YouTube channel. We have some more shows that will be taking place within even the next 1 to 2 months. So in just some upcoming weeks, we have some new shows. Matter of fact, one of the guys that's commented here on the show tonight will be on one of our shows. So shout out to Michael Westbrook. I know we've talked about this some. So he's actually going to be on the show, one of our shows a little bit later on. There are going to be some more live streams, and hopefully the audio will work from the word go. Yeah, there's that. And we talked about the more shows coming up. We will also have the return of Midwest Sports Saturday. That is coming up in just a few weeks as well. So I'm excited about that, getting to go out onto campuses throughout the entire footprint of the Midwest Sports Net. And then, you know what? Whatever else comes down the line. But I want you to be a part of it, and I think you're going to enjoy it. So more summits. We've had a really good time visiting with a lot of folks. Got to visit with Makira Tramble from Southwestern Oklahoma State University today. She is a 4-time Player of the Week in 2020, 2021, and she's a sophomore. 4-time GAC Player of the Week in 5 weeks of having competition. So she's out on a tear. We've had a lot of opportunity to visit with a lot of folks, and so that's the summit. Midwest Sports Saturdays are coming, and again, some more shows, and then live streams like this. So thank you for watching tonight. Wanted to just get out, talk about the good things, the positive things. We have not had as much opportunity to talk about positive things in recent weeks and months. You know what? We need to do so. And this is a big deal. Shout out to Division II for affirming the fact that they're going to host championships in 2021 for the winter sports. Good job, NCAA Division II. Good job. Props to you. Thanks for watching tonight. God bless you. We'll check this out. We will edit that beginning there and make sure that it comes in when there's sound if you're watching the replay. In the meantime, thanks for watching tonight. God bless you. Have a great night.